Hello, it's Ricardo and welcome back to Subnautica Below Zero, the end of the sea survival game. For those of you who've been following what's been going on my channel and also on the blog pages, you'll see that a new story is being put into the game. Indeed, a new story with a new story writer. I'm playing Experimental on Steam and we're getting a first glimpse of this new story, which to start off with is radically different to the old one, which you'll also find on the channel in a video entitled Opening Sequence. Well, here's a very rough opening sequence. As you can see, it is rough. I've got a floating snowball in the middle of my what looks like to be an escape pod. You get the impression we're ejecting away from a ship and are trying to avoid lots of asteroids or debris of some sort that's in the sky. All that being said, there's lots of swerving going on, a few other pods you can see which alludes to other people being on the Subnautica planet, and we're coming in for a hell of a crash landing. Now, like I said, it's very rough and early stages, this section of the game. So, you know, spoiler alert, right? And then straight away then, we've got to get out of this pod and then make our way to the sea, really. So our snowball's still with us. In fact, I might try that again and see if the snowball still turns up. So it says your PDA, your environment is no longer safe. No worries. You can see our temperature gauge dropping quite radically now because we're out of the water. The big red circle dropping quite significantly. We can see it's a drop pod coming down from the sky. That looks like a natural way to go. Lots of meteors crashing down, or debris, or whatever it's going to be. A few materials on the way. It's going to keep chipping away at those. And if you point down to the ground now, you can say, you can pick up snow and then also snowballs. Here's a snowball. There you have it. And here's an island. So, you know, let's get into the sea. Our temperature will stabilise. We had about, I don't know, 60 to 70 seconds there. And here it is, back into familiar territory. Going to pick up some bladderfish on the way to the pod, because I'm going to need water. Also going to need food as well. And what I've noticed as well is food drops significantly quicker than water. Significantly quicker. I'm not sure whether that's going to remain the same or whether that's by design or whether it's a bug. Again, it's experimental. It's very early stages. Lots of lightning coming in, the hailstorms. Again, lots of familiar fauna around. There's my escape pod. Just underneath it as well, you've got everything you need to make batteries. Open PDA. Sea glide fragments as well. Some twisty bridges. So I'm expecting things to be moved around somewhat, okay? Everything's not going to be exactly how it was in the previous iteration of the game. You know, they're going to tweak the story and everything else, but you know, hey, it's going to be different. Some people are going to like it, some people are not. So far, I think it's great. It's building tension, much like the other game. So we're going to replicate some water. Good to have some water. You can see we've got all the normal resources. So far I've checked, there's no new resources that you can get straight off the bat. There may be some additional quicker ways of getting through the technology trees once you start finding more materials. Let's get outside and let's go fishing and picking up materials. So I've got some copper ore, more limestone, some titanium. More ribbon plants, always handy to have some of those. And it's very important to note as well that your saved games from the previous game are not going to work here. You've got to do a completely new save, which is great.
New creature discovered.
So we've got some hoopfish. Get back, get some more food for that as well. Got to keep an eye on your air as well this early on in the game. Suffice to say, like, you're going to run out of air. You're going to run out of food, you're going to run out of water. So the basic stuff you need to survive. Air, food and water. And to be fair, food, the way that's decreasing as well, is going to be a battle to get that. But fortunately, you can go fishing. Let's get back in the pod, cook that up.
Emergency cache detected nearby.
There you go, cooked hoop fish. So, you know, an immediate change as soon as you start the game off. The escape pod coming all the way down, crashing. None of this base, exploring a bit of a base, which I actually thought was quite a good story, quite a good beginning. You know, you're definitely in the Subnautica universe. It was very similar, but not the same. This way, again, you are crashing to a planet with an escape pod. And when you check the PDA, there's also a hell of a lot of difference there. It seems that Sam, your sister, is going to be on the planet, so drastic story changes there. You know, but I'm glad I played the first iteration of this and have then gone on to this iteration, because it gives you a good comparison. So we're going to put some stuff into storage. So I've already built my scanner. Let's go and scan some stuff. Scan some plants, scan some items. Of course, you can scan the Sea Glide. So immediately, yes, definitely Subnautica Below Zero. The changes they've made, I think, are going to be for the better. It's going to build that suspense, it's going to build that intrigue, it's going to build that mystery, even for older players who typically know what to do, but now might not know where to go because things may have been moved around on the map. So, you know, all the old videos that we've got on channels will still be relevant to a degree, I believe. Especially since the last update of the Lost Ship. You know, it'd be interesting to see, you know, any changes that have happened around there, where any of the bases are. I imagine all the bases are going to be set points. So, you know, it's going to be typically go out, kit yourself up with as much gear as you possibly can, and then just go exploring and enjoy the game. So again, you know, more foraging. Get as many materials as we possibly can so we can go back, build as much kit as we possibly can, and then get out and do some exploring. Scan that coral shelf, something that I haven't scanned before. And it's going to bring, you know, usage of the scanner early on in the game, you know, very much to the forefront. You'll be scanning everything. Oh, I'll scan that. Even if you know what it's going to do. You don't know what it's going to unlock, what additional tech trees it's going to unlock. And there seems to be abundance of bladderfish as well, and food around your initial pod area. Now, whether you decide to build your base around the pod, or whether you decide to build your base around Rocket Island, or anywhere like that, that's completely up to you. There's also an emergency supply cache being dropped as well, so we'll head over there in a moment. Again, recharging air. Having a good nose round and orientating yourself with your surroundings around your initial pod. Now we've got the creeper vines as well, so that's always very handy, but to cut those I'm going to need a knife. You know, I can lubricant, get to seeds, so I can make lubricant and silicon rubber from that. So again, you know, the starting on tech tree is very similar. You know, it's the same. You know, you've got a few more things very close by. You're getting the entries into your PDA as well. You know, so typically, if you've got access to this on Steam in the experimental mode, I'd encourage you to have a good look at it and, you know, to get yourself au fait with the new surroundings, as this is indicatively what the future game is going to look like. And of course, I suppose they reserve the right as well, don't they, to change things around. But, you know, I mean, the other game pretty much stayed the same all the way through since its inception. Story changes, you know, being put in such as they're going to be, I think they're going to, you know, obviously look at the drama and things like that. So head on back to the pod, see what else we can make to aid our mobility around this entire area. Of course, you know, once we get silicon rubber, we can make fins, we can make the knife. So they know there's obviously a compass to get, so you know exactly where you're going, you don't get turned around. But I honestly get a sense of urgency as soon as you step, oh my god, I gotta get this, I gotta get this, I gotta get that, I gotta scan this, I gotta scan that, which is good, because that suspense building in a game, I think, is key. There's the emergency supply cache that's been dropped, so it's only 248 meters away from your starting location in your pod. You can do a little bit of over the ground, but be aware that your heat is going to dissipate as soon as you get out of that water. So you have to go out and find, things like snowsuits and things like that, things that have, progressively been around in the game. There's the creeper vine seed as well, which you can use to make silicon rubber, the creeper vine that you can use to make fiber mesh for the extended oxygen tank as well, things like that. So again, I'm very excited to start playing. Now there's a new critter around. Now I went up to this Titan hole fish, scanned it, no dramas. There's these things floating around, and I've been frozen by something. I don't know what. It wasn't the sea monkey. It was something else. But let's check that out in the next video. I've been Ricardo. This is the new sequence for Subnautica Below Zero. Hope you've enjoyed it. Like and subscribe. See you soon.